Hello, this is Andrea from Pesado. Today we have in our studio a two-group linear. Okay, this is a workhorse of a coffee machine. It's an industry standard, has been in the coffee game for a long time, and around the world there's been close to millions of these coffee machines sold. What do we do today? We've got this machine here because I would like to make you two coffees, and the coffees I would like to make you are with the IMS and VST basket, so IMS shower screen and VST basket, and the other side the high diffusion shower screen and high extraction basket. Why have I chosen IMS shower screen and VST basket versus high diffusion shower screen and high extraction basket? I believe the IMS shower screen is an industry standard, and I also believe the VST basket is an industry standard. So they're the most popular on the market, that's why I chose them too. And then on the other side, I've chosen our best top of the range shower screen and basket. What are we gonna do today? We're gonna use Blackboard coffee. Now, who is Blackboard coffee, first of all? Blackboard coffee is a coffee that is roasted in Burley Heads, so just up the road from us. Why have I chosen this coffee? I've chosen this coffee because I believe it is particularly suited for what we're doing. The blend that they have is very light, so this is like a standard darker coffee, and this is the Blackboard coffee. So you can see that the color of the coffee is totally different, so the blend is super light. When I say super light, I mean the roast is light. And when the coffee is roasted light, okay, it's a lot harder to extract. For some reason, the less you roast it, the harder it is to be dissolved into hot water. So it's particularly suited to work with a high extraction basket and high diffusion shower screen. What I've got here today is the two baskets that I'm going to be using today. So this is the high extraction basket. It is our large size, which is perfect for 20 grams. And here I've got a VST basket, which is a 20 gram VST basket, okay? So the depth of the basket is very similar. In fact, the depth of the VST is a little bit more, but because our high extraction basket has got a wider base, they accommodate the same amount of coffee, okay? And these are the two shower screens we're gonna be using today. This is an IMS shower screen, and this is our high diffusion shower screen. If you look at the difference of the two, obviously the IMS shower screen has got that cup look. It's a very thin shower screen, and it's got laser etched holes there, and our high diffusion shower screen is flat. However, if you can see from this is the genuine Marzocco screw, and this is our screw that we made. Our screw sits flush, so when you put this, the IMS shower screen on the machine, she will recess on the group head when ours is going to stick out. But when it sticks out, it actually sticks out flush from the screw. So here with the genuine screw of the Marzocco coffee machines, you actually have a bit of a mushroom head sticking out that could be poking on your coffee. I feel like opening a little bit of in brackets here. It is very important that the shower screen does not touch the coffee, and neither does your screw. So the way we've done all our testing, the way we've done our development is with some headroom on top of the coffee. So you don't want the shower screen to be touching the coffee. Neither you want the screw to be touching the coffee. That's why we decided to make it flush like that, so you can have a clean, flat surface on top of your coffee. Now, we're gonna go ahead and mount the shower screen in there, which I'm gonna do live. Now, the Marzocco coffee machine is it's pretty straightforward. The way you put the shower screen on is just, you line it up and you screw it in with a flat screwdriver. The other one is already on. I'm just gonna do that live. Ideally, you don't want the machine to be too hot when you're doing this, because you might burn your hands, but you know, I feel like I've done this enough times. So you wanna just line up your screw. Once you got your screw lined up, just put it straight up there, and then you tighten your screw. Now, you don't over tighten the screw, then you just warm up your shower screen. You can see the flow is totally different, so when you're using the IMS, flowing great. When you're using our shower screen, also flowing great. Flowing different though, our shower is wider, okay? So you've got more surface area there that will be diffusing water on top of your coffee. Now, I'm gonna use our black portafilter, and I'm gonna use that with a high extraction basket, and that's gonna go on that side. And this is the VST basket that I've previously shown you on the white portafilter that I'm gonna put on this side. We're gonna go ahead, dose 20 grams of coffee and try and extract 40 grams of coffee in 30 seconds. So, we have pre-dosed the coffee in our bean cellar, so I've put a little bit extra coffee in there. Why did I do that? Because sometimes there could be some retention in the grinder. So if you have retention in the grinder, then you don't get the full amount of coffee out, so I've put a little bit extra, which we might be spooning out if it's too much. So I've preset the grinder, so I've made the coffee just before to make sure the grinder is set, and I've set it for the high extraction basket. Okay. Once we do that, I will then change the grind a little bit for the VST basket, because it will need to be coarser in order to get the same time and the same extraction ratio. So we're gonna go ahead and get our dosing cup, and the way I'm doing this, I'm turning on the grinder, closing the chute, pouring all the coffee in there, getting my scale, turning my dosing cup there. So, 20.05, so I'm just gonna make that exactly 20 grams. Very good. Very important, as always, to get our coffee distribution. Before we make a coffee, we wanna make sure that the coffee is very well distributed in the basket, especially when we're doing this kind of test. You know, it is an absolute priority to try and keep the things consistent. If we're obviously busy and doing like 100 coffees a day, you don't have the physical time to do that. We get it. But if we're doing this test, yeah, this is very important to get a similar result, you know. So yeah, I use my gravity distributor. Impact gravity distributor ensures that you've got no air pockets in there. The WDT tool breaks out any possible clamps, and I use my depth adjuster tamper to make sure I'm tamping exactly the same on each one of the coffees. So that's locked and loaded. You can tell how much headroom I got in there. I probably have like 9, 8, 9, sometimes 10 millimeters. And I think that's a really good thing for the coffee, because it just allows the coffee to expand into your basket without affecting the extraction, okay? So I'm gonna run that one on our pesado cup. Put that one in there, take my shot, run. Now this machine has got some timers that have been installed previously, so that will facilitate a little bit the job we got. As you can tell, we got a good delay there, about 7 seconds, which I'm really happy with. What we're aiming at getting is about 40 grams of coffee in about 30 seconds, okay? So if this goes any longer, I might just allow it, but we're looking on track. There you go. 40 grams in about 34 seconds. I'm happy with that. I'm gonna try now and replicate the same coffee with the VST basket and the IMS shower screen. Now, because, I'm gonna leave that cup there, because the high extraction basket has got more holes, it will extract faster. And if it will extract faster, that's why I'm gonna go finer on the coffee to back down the time of extraction. With the VST, then I'll have to go coarser. So in this scenario, I'm just gonna coarsen up my grind to about, it was on 9, I'm gonna put it on like 12, okay? And that should be sufficient. Then I'm gonna go back to dose my coffee again. So yeah, I've pre-dosed it in here, close the grinder, let it go, pour all the coffee in there. .4, so I'm gonna take a little bit of coffee out. There you go, 20 grams exactly. I'm gonna take the same amount of care, putting the coffee into the basket. Then I make sure that I work it with my WDT to make sure that everything is spread correctly and is looking even before we use the impact gravity distributor, and then I'm running my gravity distributor on top of it to clear up any air pockets that there could be in the ground coffee, okay? What I want before the extraction is an even and flat bed, and then I'm gonna go in with my depth adjuster tamper with a firm tamp, okay, down to the gauge, and I want as much as possible to have the same amount of headroom that I had before. Loading up my shot, prepping my scale. So we've got a nice delay and a good looking instruction. Single stream, which is a classic of this kind of baskets. Everything comes out in a center stream. What we're aiming at getting, again, is about 40 grams that we got before in about 33, 34 seconds. So we're on target for that. Okay, we got 40 grams in 33 seconds. So there was 1 second difference between the two. I don't think it's a massive difference. I think it's a very small difference. So I'm pretty happy with that one. What I'm going to do now is I pop these two up here and I let them cool down before we take a sample of each and measure the TDS extraction. I also will have a sip of each one of them and give you my tasting notes, and I hope this is also helpful for you. So let's get straight on to that. So we're down to the final verdict for this video. What have we got here is the coffee we have made with the high diffusion shower screen and the high extraction basket. What we've got here is the coffee that I've made with the IMS shower screen and the VST basket. What am I expecting from this is to have a fuller cup with our setup. When I say fuller cup, I'm meaning full flavor, more TDS, and better performance of the coffee when you mix it with milk or water. Here, you likely have a cup that is a little bit thinner in taste. It's going to have a lower TDS. Now, I feel like taking a little bit of a bracket here because this is mostly a video that is directed to people using this commercially, okay? When a roaster makes their coffee, or when you even dial in the coffee in the morning, you dial it in to a certain basket or to a certain roast. So with this video, I've tried to dial in the same coffee in two different scenarios. One of them is with our kit, and the other one was with the IMS VST kit. I've pretty much tried my very best to get the best possible shot with our kit and with the other kit. So the coffee is the same. You would not run the same grind and make two coffees, and the reason why you wouldn't do that is because you wouldn't really achieve the best possible scenario. So I wanted 1 to 2 extraction, meaning that I'm doubling up the dry coffee into liquid coffee, and then I'm tasting the total dissolved solid and the taste of the coffee. So I try to keep to a strict recipe, and I try to dial in, okay? So what are we gonna do? We're gonna test the TDS of the first coffee, okay? And obviously use our TDS reader. This is testing the density of the coffee, so how many dissolved solids. And with this cup, it's showing us a 10.5, okay? So 10.5 of that is solids. I'm gonna put that back into the cup, and I'm gonna give it a good wipe and a dry wipe, so we don't want any cross-contamination there when we do this kind of testing. Hopefully you can see that okay. Then I'm gonna go ahead and measure the other one. So when I press the TDS reader, what we got there is a reading of 11.37, so nearly 11.4. So you got a 10.5 and an 11.4. So you got a full percentage point nearly on the highest diffusion shower skin and highest extraction basket. I am not surprised to see this. I was actually expecting this to be like that. And what this means is that you got 10% more dissolved coffee into this cup. When we taste the two coffees, so I'm gonna go ahead and give it a taste. And the first one with the VST basket, nothing wrong with the coffee. It tastes good, okay? But when I go and taste the other one, what I have in terms of taste is a much richer cup of coffee in an espresso. Much richer, much more full, much more broad. Like the tasting note is just more, I mean, I should have now tasted this, give it 5 minutes, rinse my mouth. So if I wanted to do professionally, this is a different story. And I should be making 10 of this and 10 of that. But we're not doing that here. We're just having a quick run around, a quick taste of things, okay? But just from this one cup, I can guarantee you blindfolded, you would pick this without a doubt. So my point is here that what we're trying to do is to give you tools that are extracting more coffee. And this is definitely proving and showing that it's extracting more. Now, there's another bracket that I would like to open, and the high extraction basket and high diffusion shower screen is particularly suited for this very kind of coffee. So for roasts that are very light roast, single origins, light roast, filter roast, all these kind of coffees, if you want to extract them through the coffee machine, the high extraction basket will give you a much more intense extraction. If we were to use a darker coffee, I would not have gone for the high extraction basket. I would have still used the high diffusion shower screen, but I would have used the EP basket. And now I just want to bring that into the conversation here and show it to you next to the VST. So when you've got an EP basket, okay, this is our VST, which is the one we've used for this video, which is a great basket, by the way. And even the IMS shower screen, there's nothing wrong with them. They're fantastic. But what we have created is a tool that performs more. So it gives you more extraction. And I want to go just comparing the VST basket with our basket that is designed for the darker coffees, okay? So not only darker, but more like blend, medium dark, all this kind of stuff. So we've got here the EP. So this is different than the high extraction. This is our high extraction. This is what we've used for the video. Great for light roast. Compared to the VST, it's a totally different ball game. It's thicker, it's more cylindrical. The holes, there's way more holes. So I was expecting this, you know what I mean? But if you're using dark roast, I suggest you to go for our EP basket. And the EP basket is more closer to the VST style. It's got a closer price point as well, so they pretty much cost the same. And I just want to show you the different way this is made, which is, again, you got more holes. And more holes means less restriction, easier flow. Even on this basket, which is probably going to do into another video down the track, you would have had a lot more dissolved solids. But again, this would be more suited for a darker roast. So, you know, this is just something that we have there as an option. And if you would like to explore our range, these are the two tools that we do recommend working with a high diffusion shower screen. Darker roast, EP basket, light roast, high extraction basket. I hope you find this video helpful. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.